on a lonely, lonely Friday. Uh, Today on Ziti TV, it is a nice day. You can see some sun out there, so it's seems like a nice day here in Western New York. But today on Ziti TV, don't have a particular demo planned, and instead, what I've got going on is I'm going to cook up some office hours. So if there are burning, interesting questions that you, the OpenZiti community, are interested in hearing about and getting an answer from somebody who probably knows what he's talking about when it comes to OpenZiti, I won't say for sure because OpenZiti's got some features that even I don't fully understand. But that's how we all learn, right? You get questions, you get some answers, and everybody learns a bit more. So that's what we're doing today. We're doing office hours and we're going to do a live stream. So you get to watch me fumble and bumble through command line stuff, through GoLand and that sort of thing. And if that's interesting to you, then great. If you feel like mocking me and my terrible coding skills, please do that. I enjoy that. Uh, and then if you want to offer some help or ask questions, well, then that's cool too. Now, mind you, this is a live stream. And so if you're going to ask questions, not now, just expect them to get answered, but in a delayed form. So go ahead and either ask them here on Discourse, ask them over on the YouTube channel. We'll do that sort of thing. So yeah, that's what we're up to. I don't know which of the screens I'm going to end up showing today because my main screen is a really swank 1440p, and that's really where it's at. But I want it to be able to be visible and for people to see. So I might do it over here, but I don't want to look down a lot. I want to be able to look somewhere in this vicinity. So I'm going to share my my bigger screen, and hopefully everything works out. If it doesn't, just let me know. Hopefully you'll let me know in the chat. I'll try to make everything big enough where it's not going to be a particular problem. So let's go ahead and click a share screen button. And click a share screen button. There you go. Thank you. Share an entire screen 2. And we'll share this. And you can say, well, what is all this stuff? Right, so clear this out. Clear this out. You'll get to enjoy me right there in the lower right-hand corner. If that becomes burnt, but I'm sure everybody's here just to say hi to me. So what I got going on, what I've got cooking, I'm going to be speaking at QCon in a few weeks. And so one of the things that has been exciting me personally is external JWT signers. So about a year ago, I think Andrew and I had a really cool session where we looked at Spiffy and Spire. Technically, it's Spire. Spiffy is the spec or a set of specs, whereas Spire is the implementation of those specs. And so we had a nice little ZD TV session. If you haven't watched that, you might want to go back and watch that. But I've been goofing around with Spire. And the reason why I've been goofing around with Spire is because it allows you to create a certificate which represents a Spiffy ID. It'll let you mint one. Let's see if I can get my Spire server back running. Let's see, we'll just do bin Spire server run, control R, and then conf, oh boy, history, Spire, one of these in here somewhere, right there. This is the one I want to run. Let's just go ahead and start Spire back up here. You'll see some stuff flashes by, and that's all well and fine. Let's go and, actually, no wonder why. This is the window that has it. That's why it's the window that has it in it. Cool. All right, well, that's a big deal. We'll just keep rolling with it. Let's go to the Spire directory out here. And if I do a Spire server, you can see that Spire has a few of these things. And one of the things you can do is JWT. And then when you can do a mint command. And then when you do a mint command, you need to give it a Spiffy ID. And it can't be any old thing. Well, maybe it can. Audience. Let's see, ZD. I thought for sure. Yeah. So it is a little bit finicky. You got to give it a spiffy ID since it is an SVID, spiffy verifiable identity. You can give it. Let's see. Nope. You can give it example.org/any. Like that. Let me make that a bit bigger. There we go. It's here. There we go. And now there is a cool JWT that I just created using just Spire. And so Spire, when it turns on in this development mode like this, I know that we're not talking about OpenZiti, but this is, I think, interesting stuff. When you look at the server conf, you can see what trust domain it is configured for. Is spiffy like a non-X509 cert? Never used that before. Welcome. So Arslan asked an interesting question. So Spiffy is a set of specifications, and Spire is an implementation of those specifications. And so in this case, this is a JWT, or JSON Web Token, and it is similar to an X509 certificate. What happened there? Well, I don't want to see that. Hide that. Thank you. Similar to an X509 certificate in so far as it is a cryptographically verifiable document. So JWTs are oftentimes used in authentication because part of it, if we take a look at a JWT right here, let me open this in a notepad so I can goof around on it, make it bigger. But what you'll find is you'll find 3 periods inside of a JWT. The first thing is the header, the second thing is the payload, and the third thing is a signature. And that signature is really the bit of this that's really interesting and important. So if we take this out and we do an echo this, and we pipe that into base 64 minus D, and then we'll do that into JQ dot. You'll see that this is the header that came from that JWT. So it says this is the algorithm that it's using. It says that it's a JWT, and it tells you this KID. Basically, it's the something identifier. What's the K stand for? Key identifier. There it is, the KID. And so that's the header. And so if I go back and I grab the middle bits there and do the same thing again, echo this, and then this goes into base 64 and JQ like this. You can see this is the information contained in the JWT. Mind you, actually, let's go ahead and make it. Let's tie this right back into a Ziti really quick. So if I SSH out to my Amazon machine, and I hope this I hope this JWT is dead, but if not, it's not the end of the world. If I look at my identity file, so I've made an identity file out here, which is what OpenZiti uses to enroll. You'll see it's also a JWT, which is why this is relevant. So this JWT right here will get you authorized into my my environment if you were to use it. So if I do it as Ziti Edge, actually, do I have Ziti on my path? Yeah, Ziti Edge enroll test.jwt. Ah, look at that, it expired. So cool, I can show that JWT and not worry about it. But let's take a look at this JWT real quick, and I'll get on to that second question in just a moment. So let's go back and grab this JWT, which is what OpenZiti is using, and we'll do the same thing. We'll find the periods, and we'll just split it up. And let's take a look at the header of the JWT. Echo this, paste into base 64 minus D, and then JQ dot. You'll see OpenZiti is using RS-256, so RSA 256 as opposed to EC, elliptical curve. Now let's look at the information that's contained inside of here. Echo this, paste base 64, pipe JQ period. What did I goof up there? Yeah, I got to decode it. No, I did -t. That's the difference. All right. You'll see in OpenZiti, we supply an expiration, and I don't know if the Spiffy one had. Yep, Spiffy one had an expiration too. And it tells you the issuer, ISS, and it tells you the subject. And the subject is interesting because if I do a ZD Edge list, actually, I'm going to log in first. Yeah, I'm going to be on. I don't know if I'm going to SSH CD. Where did I put that shell? Oh, it's not here. ZD Edge login. Let's make that bigger too. Okay, if I do a ZD Edge list, identities limit none. Inside of here, oh, I gotta go back to my. Here, I should find this identity, CSS something or other. CSS something or other. There you go. So the subject is the identity of the quote unquote ZD identity. So that's neat. And then there's that last bit, the cryptographically via variable information. The signature is appended to the JWT so that when the enrollment happens, we can verify that the JWT comes from the issuer that it says it comes from. And so that's what we do. Let's see. Hopefully all that makes sense. Really neat stuff. Andrew is our pro here, and he's helped me learn a lot of this stuff. So is there any benefit of using it instead of a self-signed certificate or one from Let's Encrypt? It's a cool question. And so when we're talking about JWTs as opposed to self-signed certificates, we're kind of talking about similar things, right? So a JWT is usually issued to someone or something, and then that JWT is used to present it back to a server. So a lot of times you'll see these things called bearer tokens in the authentication header supplied. So like if we look at some code really quickly here, let's see if I would find the word bearer in my little mess of code that I've been goofing off with. Where is it? Here's just an example. So you can see this is code. This is the code I was looking for. Is it? Yeah, that's the one I've modified. And so here you can see I'm setting a request header called authorization, adding this word bearer, and then getting the actual JWT from Spiffy. This is why I'm talking about Spiffy and Spire, or sorry, getting it from Spire, using the, what is this package? Let's see, JWT SVID. So Go Spiffy is a library that lets you interact with your Spire server. And so I'm making this little demo for the talk that I'm going to give. That's why I brought Spire up. That's why we're talking Spire. That's why I'm talking JWTs, because the talk is basically going to start off where, and I'll get back to the Let's Encrypt question here in a moment, but it's going to start off with communication in the clear, and then communication using Spire, which is actually my first interaction using Spire. Pretty neat, actually, because Spire makes it easy to do mutual TLS. Really pretty easy. I would say it makes it as easy as OpenZiti makes it to do mutual TLS. Because as you probably know, everything in OpenZiti, mutual TLS everywhere, as well as end-to-end encrypted also. So TLS is kind of encryption. I mean, not kind of, it is encryption. So it's sort of the same thing to say it's end-to-end encrypted. And then I'm going to darken the Spire/Spiffy protected endpoints because mutual TLS is super, it's awesome, but it still is an attackable endpoint that is available on the underlay. So I'm going to then make it dark. So how does it all tie back in to Let's Encrypt? Let's Encrypt is going to, generally speaking, I don't know if they issue client identities, but generally speaking, my experience with Let's Encrypt is more about the server. So if I go out to, I have a demo server that you could go to as well. Clint, where is it? Right here. So Oh, it doesn't make this bigger. Oh well. So this is my Let's Encrypt a protected site. And so it had not site settings. I wanted to see the certificate. Certificate is valid. So if you were to go out to zach.clint.demo.openziti.org, you'll see that I have a wildcard certificate presented, and it is from Let's Encrypt. So that's a valid certificate. And so signing a certificate from Let's Encrypt, getting a valid certificate, is interesting. You know, Andrew has a nice take on this from a security software perspective. It's actually kind of better to use a self-signed certificate, one that you own and you control, and you know where it came from, and you know where the root CA private key is held, and you know how to online it and offline it and do that sort of thing, as opposed to using one signed by an independent third party, which is obviously globally trusted, like Let's Encrypt or DigiCert or something like that. Because when you use, if you rely all of your trust on a public CA, you are basically extending your trust zone through them. And if they get compromised in some way, shape, or form, well, then you can get compromised in some way, shape, or form. So, but it does have this really beautiful benefit of giving you the little padlock icon in your browser, which is, you know, that's a pretty useful thing for most people. Most people have been taught. So, like for example, if I go to my, actually, I don't even know the URL of this thing. Not this window. This window. It's here. Oh, external ID. Yeah. So as opposed to if I come to this window, yes, 8441, I get the scary, ooh, your connection is not private, right? We've all been educated that your connection needs to be private for you to trust it, and don't you dare be one of these silly guys that clicks on this and just proceeds right through. But this is my OpenZiti installation. I ran it. I know this is my certificate. So because of all of those things, I have no problem trusting it. Randoms who try to hit this URL, they might not trust it. And you know, you probably shouldn't unless you know what you're doing. So using Let's Encrypt does have a lot of benefits from a web perspective like this, because you get the little padlock. Now, you could optionally go into here, go to certificate, details. You can get this chain, pull it down, put it into your local environment. So like your operating system ships with a trust store. You could put this in your operating system's trust store. And then magically, when I go to EC2, 3, 134, whatever, my browser would show me the padlock icon, because I would have chosen to trust that. And so, yeah, that's it's a little bit about Let's Encrypt. It's a little bit about Spiffy Spire. It's a little bit about JWTs. And hopefully that was fun and exciting and interesting. Cool. Thanks for the question. All right. So where was I going from here? That was a nice little tangent. Come back to Spire land. So what I was trying to do with Spire is I was trying to use the JWT provided by Spire using their GoSpiffy workload API to basically protect my service. And that's what I was up to. And so if I got so many windows going on here, I want to make sure I see the comments in case any more good comments come in. All right. So yeah, this is what I was up to. I was trying to debug Spire because just prior to this call, I was talking to the Spiffy maintainers in their Slack, asking them how I might be able to obtain the private key which is used to generate JWTs from Spire. And the reason why all comes back to OpenZiti's external identity, external JWT signers. That's the word. I got there. Let's see if we go with Ziti. Let's explore the Ziti CLI. Ziti Edge create external JWT signer. When I create an external JWT signer, I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to give it an issuer, and then I'm either going to give it a JWKS endpoint or a cert PEM or a cert file. So this is something I'm going to talk to Andrew about, because a certificate basically is a way of, every certificate basically comes with a public key. It basically is a public key. So I need the public key in order to verify the JWT. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to verify the JWT that comes from Spire is able to be used in OpenZiti. And OpenZiti right now wants a certificate or a certificate file, or just the PEM in encoded PEM format in the command line here as an argument. But it seems like what we might want to do is instead take a public key. And I have to talk to Andrew about this, because he's like I said, he's our pro on this, and he's the one who made this feature, to see what he thinks about it. But Spire only allows me to get at the public key. So again, we got our Spire server running up here. So if I run Spire server, and then I run the word bundle, a bundle list. Oh, Joe. There it is. All right, so let's make this window. Oop, no. I want that window bigger. I want this window smaller. That's the Spire server. Don't particularly care about that. So let's show that bundle again. You'll see when I show the bundle, what pops out is a single certificate. And what's really interesting is this certificate is not the JWT, not the certificate associated with the JWT. Instead, it is a certificate associated with an X509 SVID. So one of the things you can do with Spire and with the Go Spiffy library is you can generate certificates too. And so a better way to show this bundle is actually passing format Spiffy, which in my opinion probably should be the default. Because look, you get extra information here. You get this key stuff, you get this, you get all this, right? And so looking at it, you can see this is used for JWT SVIDs, whereas this is used for X509 SVIDs. So last year's demonstration that Andrew gave, I'm pretty sure he used, I haven't watched it recently. Well, I mean, I've watched it recently, but not enough to know. I'm pretty sure we used the X509 SVID from an X509 SVID and not an external JWT signer. So that's a little different thing. That would be a CA. So can I, that's on the right window. I want to see if I can, I wanted to see if I could put it to the side as opposed to keep doing this, but a CA, what we can do with the CA is we can trust a particular CA. And so actually, let's look at the certificate, shall we? So that shows me this. So I want to take this and pipe it into OpenSSL X509 print. Is it? Filters. What is the command to look at the certificate? X509. I cannot remember for the life of me. I've done this so many times in my life, and I can't remember it now. Let's go to the Google. Show certificate information. OpenSSL. Text. Jeez. All right. Yay. So here we see the issuer is acme.com and the subject is acme.com. Well, that's cool. That means this is a self-signed certificate. I should be able to use this as the certificate needed to verify but interesting. So I should be able to use this in Ziti. But again, another problem that we might run into is when you add an external CA in this way, part of the flow is going to be to verify this CA. And the way you verify the CA, is that a subcommand? I don't remember exactly. Oh, it's hello. Where's my history? Is it verify? Yeah. So after you create your external CA, you then have to verify that you own that external CA so that you're authorized, basically confirming that you're authorized to use, or you're authorizing Ziti to use the CA, but you're also proving that you own the private key so that you're not just adding some random trust store to Ziti. You have to have the private key for it to work so that you can mint other certificates, so that Ziti can trust that you are trustworthy enough to actually mint those certificates. So in order to do that, after you create the CA, Ziti will ask you or instruct you to create a certificate with a specific field. And so you need to go and make a certificate with a specific field. And in order to do that, generally you create a signing request and then sign it with a private key. But with Spire, I couldn't find that private key yet. So perhaps I can configure Spire to use the private key, which I want it to. And that's what I've tried to do. So if we look at the conf server, what's the server conf? You can see I've used one of their plugins that allows me to specify the root certificate and the root key. That I should try to figure out if that actually is valid or not. Because as long as that's valid, then I'll have the key right here. I'll have a certificate right here that I could use, and I'll be able to sign and make a verification certificate in order to verify my CA. So that's also neat and fun and exciting. But I was specifically trying to use the external JWT signer because what I wanted to do was I wanted to obtain the certificate. No, I wanted to obtain a JWT from Spire. Another part of Spiffy Spire is they have this thing they call an agent. So it's down here. Yeah. So now my agent is running. In fact, I'm gonna start all this over because I want these in the same window. Let's stop this down here. We'll run the Spire server here, and Spire agent down here. All right. So now I'm running the Spire server and I'm running the Spire agent, and the agent is doing attestations for me. So basically what you can do, where is the code? So what you can do is when this program runs, you can create a workload registration inside of Spiffy that looks like this. And so basically you create an entry. Actually, let's list the entries and see if I have any. So I'm going to stop using this window entirely. I'm just bring it over here. That way it doesn't pop up. And then I'm going to shrink this one. Yeah. Inspire server entry list. Haven't. So I do have some. Yeah. All right. So I've already created my workload. Oh, I didn't delete the data directory. That's why. I have a client workload that I have enabled, and I have a server workload right here, which I have enabled. And notice that the server has a selector that says the Unix user is CD. So when this process runs and when it connects to this Spire agent, the Spire agent will return to me the identity associated with this particular user. And so you can see that in operation because if my JWT server works. Let's see if it still works, because I was doing development. You know how it goes, break things. Let's see if this actually works. Okay, seems like it. So what I was working on, my little demo, was, let's see, where was that? It's this one right here. So many windows, I know. So what I had done was I had taken the code that came from Spire. Let's look for the word token. No, token. Nope. 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 I should say has prefix. Where is has prefix token? Okay. Where's the client? When they build client, it's this right here. Did I goof it up? Oh no, it's right here. Oh yeah, okay. This little bit right here. So basically what I have said is if the argument isn't one, I thought it was looking for specifically the word token. I thought for sure I did that. Then what it will do is it'll fetch a JWT from the agent. And so what I can do over here is I can run Linux client, and instead of running it as workload, I'm going to just run it as me. So this is me running it. And you see when I run that thing, I get a JWT back. And it's telling me to run this curl statement, but the JWT is really the important thing. So if I run this into the CD JWT, and then I have a JWT shell script that does this. Where'd it go? Well, that's a real bummer. I had a shell script that ripped this thing apart for me. I guess I'll just do it the hard way again. Echo this paste to base 64 minus DJQ dot. You can see that the spiffy ID, actually the spiffy ID down here that it returned was for server because I ran it as me. And when I made my selector, it's going to return server. So the agent knows the user that's running and uses the selector and return this SVID. That's pretty neat. Now let's do the same thing, but instead of running client space token with as me as the CD user, I'm going to sudo into the Spire client workload user and do the same thing. You'll see I'll get a JWT again. And I'm going to do the same echo. I should make this an alias. Pipe to base 64 minus D pipe to JQ dot. And what you'll see this time is client. So that agent that's running is able to determine the user who is making the request to the agent and then returning the spiffy ID, the SVID associated as it should. And so that's cool because when I run my server like I'm running, now what I can do is I can run this particular curl statement because I've now fetched a JWT. I have an authorization header, and so when I run this, I should see success. That's the whole demo. And what happens when I change the JWT from say capital Q to lowercase q? Well, all of a sudden I'm going to get an unauthorized because I wonder if I spit out a log. Yeah, unable to get the claims for the token. Error in the cryptographic primitive. The signature, which is the last piece of this puzzle, I changed. So I changed it from Q to a little lowercase q. So if I go back and modify, say, one of these other pieces, we'll also get unauthorized because it's not able to verify the signature anymore. Let's see if it's about character I, looking for beginning of value. Well, it should be able to no longer verify. Actually, the signature is valid. I take it back. No, the signature won't be valid because the content has changed. So the signature should fail. It looks like it's doing something else. I just don't understand right yet, but that's how it should work. so, so when I put everything back together, I get the success. And so that's what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to show how to take a simple API that has no security, or just regular security, meaning just TLS in one direction. How to add mutual TLS using Spiffy and Spire, which will still have an underlay available. I'll be able to curl there. Like you can see, I'm curling to my local host 8443 by SS minus LNTP. You'll see 8443 is my debug JWT. See, this is the process name which Golang gives this. And yeah, so I'll take this entirely off the underlay and listen exclusively on the overlay. And that's what I was trying to do. But in order to get this to work, I need to set up an external JWT signer inside of OpenZiti. And in order to get that to work, I need the private key that the JWT was signed with. And I can't get that private key. And so that's why I'm trying to debug Spire now. And yeah, that's what I'm up to. I think it's going to be a fun presentation. But this is an office hours as well. So if there are things that you want to hear about, I should make a little. Let's make a little thing. Office hours, right? I should say something like office hours. Ask a question. Get an answer. Let's see if that works. Boom. Yeah. What does everybody think of that? Right? That's pretty cool. Let's see. Make it. How do I edit this thing? Let's show. Oh, I can only edit it. Okay. I can only edit it. So what happens if I put a couple of spaces in here? Will it space that out? Let's see. Nope. Trims of the spaces. All right. Well, let's just do it the office hours. How's that look? That looks dumb. It's better the other way. All right. Back again. Here we go. Enjoying the show. Office hours. Ask a question. Get an answer. It doesn't have to be about OpenZiti. You can ask anything. All right. Let's see. What was I up to? I was busy trying to figure out how to debug Spire. I understand how all these probably too small to see, but the code looks like it's legible. So if I end up in code or down in the shell, that'll be legible. All right. Well, so that's a little bit about JWTs, a little bit about certificates, a little bit about Let's Encrypt, a little bit about Spire, Spiffy, a little bit about the Go Spiffy API. We've kind of gone all over the place in this office hours. This is fun. It's exciting. Got a couple questions. That's pretty awesome. Arslan asking some questions. Nice to see Arslan still around. All right. Let's see. Where was I? Yeah, trying to get Spire. Go Spiffy. It should be Spire. Yeah. Let's see what happens this time. Is this the... Oh, this is the wrong server. Debug Spire. That's the one I want. This is the one that's going to take forever to compile, I'm sure. Can I move this over here? Nope. Yeah, compilation failed. Unzip. Oh, that's right. I wanted to go back. I was trying to figure out if I could do this from the command line. That's where I was. Okay. Clear this. CD. All right. CD to GitHub. No, CD to GitHub. CD to external. CD to this to this. Okay, I need gitwin. All right, so that's that. And then did Linux build work? So we will go build -o Linux build -tags -go, then command spire server main.go. Writing go mod cache Azure library. That is weird. Go mod ID. Permission denied. What is going on in there? Why? Let's do a WSL CD. Get this from here. CD up here, and then externals. Spiffy. Clone. Spire. All right. Again, office hours. And any OpenZiti questions? Ask away. Any other questions? Ask away. Other than that, I'm just here answering questions for another 20 minutes and showing you my screen so you can watch me as I do my dev work. Mock me, as I said before. All right, so go Spire. Now we'll run that same build command. What is going on? Permission denied. Azure. That is so weird. MSI.go. What is it doing? Go mod tidy here. What is this? I guess it's time to look at. Where's the file? Imports. Unzip. So weird. I've not seen this one before. I don't know if there's anybody out there who can help me with a build error and Go, but this is it's a new one for me. Can't open Bang Azure, Bang AD, Bang Microsoft. Permission denied. I mean, I could try to sudo it, but like it just looks goofy. Exclamation points are weird. Why? Seems like other people use exclamation points. Well, now I want to know what an exclamation point represents in a Go package. Anybody ever seen that one before? I have not. Okay. Some personnel on Reddit has seemed to have had similar issues. I really don't want to sudo it. What happens? Okay. So, didn't help anyway. I'm not going to figure out how to. It's like nothing in there that was written by root then. Oh, oh, look at there's all kinds of stuff written by root in here. Wonder how I did that. All right, so let's CD. No. Where is it trying to go? All right, so we're going to do a sudo chown cd, and we'll do a -r. Oh, I'm in go. That's why. All right, what happens here? Is it going to work now? It's probably going to take forever. That's not so bad. And what directory was that? Okay. Okay, go mod tidy. So that's fun. I don't know how I did that. Well, that worked out. So let's now build. This one. Oh, keep forgetting I can add music to these streams. What do I think? Ambient? Let's try that. A lot better than just listening to me talk. And hear some music and listen to me talk. Only only here for 12 more minutes. Doing it in office hours. Talking to people who have questions about OpenZiti, showing you my screen. In this case, we're waiting for Spire to build. And if it builds, then fantastic. That would be quite the accomplishment. Then I can go back to my editor and see if I can't debug Spire and steal that private key that I can't get at because Spire locks them away, which is obviously a good idea. This is taking its time, which is good. It means it seems like it's working. Not so sure about this ambient. How do I change it? Well, there it comes. Yeah. But chill hop instead. That's better. At least it's got a little bit of a drum beat. Okay. Looks like it built. Let's see if we can debug it then. It'll be quite nice if I can debug it. Quite nice. Hopefully this doesn't take as long as that last build did. Last build took its sweet time. Hey, Mr. Broderick. I think the exclamation points are conventional conversions from upper to lower case, so as to avoid collisions. Thank you, Mr. Broderick. I have never seen them before, but they are clearly used. I'm waiting for the compilation. Yeah, I was going to look up the exclamation point thing, see if I could find something authoritative on it. But Once I noticed I did have things owned by root in there. I'm like, well, I don't know how I did that. Probably built in Docker or something. I don't even know how I did that. I rarely need sudo. Boy, oh boy. This is just dreadful waiting for this compilation. Oh, you can't even see it. I got the little scroller going. There it goes. Oh, and then I go here. Take her back up though. Okay. Holy moly. It's up. It's up and it's running. Sweet. Let's see. There's oh boy. I left Spire running though, didn't I? Where is not this one? Not this one. Yes, EF pipe rep server. Where did I put that? Where in the world did I leave? Oh, it's over here. That's right. Okay, so now theoretically, need a cough button. Now theoretically, Spire is running, and where am I? This one will work. Inspire server. What was it? Bundle show. Oh, okay. Where is my? So now this is a fun little difference because I had to change this. So maybe it's at something /temp. Uh-huh. Yes. Uh-huh. How do I encourage? What's up there? Oh. Where is the API sock then? That's the question. Let's see. My temp dash name. Well, that's a bummer. It is running on WSL. It did compile there. Oh. None of those things look remotely like GoLand. Let's do a SS. Is it running? Oh no, debugger. Okay. Oh, she's gonna read. Please use the config. Didn't I? I did use the config flag. Thank you very much. Could not find the config file. That is the problem. Oh, kiddo. That's a whole different ball of wax. Okay. Again. It could be. It could be. Stephen has an interesting point. Perhaps the IDE is doing these things, which is very much a possibility. Very much. That would make a lot of sense. But you would think that the IDE would be able to. What is going on? You'd think the IDE would be able to fix that. Oh yeah. Okay. That was a lot quicker. I'm encouraged by how much quicker that was. Well, I've got this open somewhere else, huh? But finding it. $11.55. Here it is. Hey, I found it. bigger, better window. And these things are server conf. And try debugging again. See how that works. Will it be there? This will be a big step for me if I can get this private key out. Okay. Oh. That's pretty exciting. I'm not going to lie. That is pretty exciting. Now I need to remember how to write all this stuff out to disk. Stop that. Ooh, look at all that green. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We are so close. So close. Let's see. Where do I write? Where did I put that? Public. There it is. Let's see now. Still all the same stuff. Come over here. Paste it in here and see what breaks. All right, Marshall public key. Marshall private key. Marshall EC private key. I do believe it's an EC private key. Private key. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, you don't like that? Just a general crypto signer. I guess I'll have to go do the Google on that one too. Maybe I'll just ask ChatGPT to write me this code. Anyway, we are at 11:58. Had some cool questions from the community. That was exciting. Had some help from Steven. Nice to see you back out there, buddy. And that'll be our Ziti TV for the week. I've enjoyed it. Hopefully people watching will enjoy it. Ask questions over here on Discourse. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have... I should really get better at... Where we have you can give us a star on GitHub, right? That's important. Yeah, need to be able to do that. You can ask a question over on openziti.discourse.group. You can go to our Twitter handles, OpenZiti on YouTube and Twitter, and of course follow Ziggy on Twitter too. Look at we got them all. We got them all.